await no longer. Greatness has arrived. Welcome to the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players. I am your host, Joseph, and it's here on this very podcast where we talk about the latest and greatest in PlayStation each and every Thursday, usually along the greatest co-host, whoever will be, Mr. Kyle Stevenson. But Kyle, he's working a double shift. He couldn't make it, so we have the next best co-host. The best co-host ever. JoAfterWork. I literally looked back at the screen. You're holding a Vita.
I mean, you said the greatest, right?
You're right.
Vita?
It really was. The thing is, like, the Vita was so underrepresented. It's such a great console. It doesn't get the love it deserves. It was
really
the Switch
is.
before the Switch. This
is true.
Joe, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm glad to be on a podcast of some sort right now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. P&P, they won't allow you on. They won't allow you on.
I'm banned.
Yeah, they're straight up banned.
Man.
God. Bobby, let me tell you, he doesn't get his way. He just starts banning anybody, you know? Joe, we were talking before this show started, just to let everybody in on this. It's finals week for me, so everything's blowing up, and I'm just so tired. Joe, you've been working all day and all night, and now it's after work.
It's after work right now. You did it, yeah.
Oh my God. So, and then, like, to top it all off, Joe, this week has to be the slowest news I have ever seen for video games ever. It's like absolutely nothing happened.
It's a sign. It's right? A sign. Maybe that's a good thing. They're waiting for us to finish.
You know what I think, real talk? I really think it's Endgame. I think Endgame came out and it sucked all the oxygen out of the room. And everybody's like, we'll hold off with all of our announcements until we can deal with what happened.
Did Thanos snap the news? Like, it was just like, no news. You're done.
None.
What is this nonsense? You're going to see this movie.
Oh, my God. And so many things actually happened this weekend. We had Endgame. We had the Battle for Winterfell, but nobody saw it because it was too dark. And then we had Days Gone come out. And there's so much hubbub about this game. It being, some would say, mediocre. Some would say extremely buggy. And a lot of people were like kind of arguing back and forth about if this game was actually worth its salt. And Kyle must be kicking himself right now because I know he's been dying to talk about this game. I've played this game for about 10 hours so far. Joe, you've played it for about like 3 or 4, right?
Yeah, 4 to 5-ish. I'd say closer to 5, yeah.
So because usually we talk about all the news and stuff. We'll put this segment of what we've been playing to Days Gone. What are your initial thoughts 5 hours into the game?
5 hours in, it feels like an open world game, how I would have expected an open world game to work. But I will say I went in with like half and half expectations ever since that first E3 trailer, 3 years ago or something like that?
Yeah.
2017?
And why is
2 years
that?
ago? Sorry, I can't do math.
Don't worry. It's finals week. I can't do it either, dude.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I mean, to me, it felt like at that time, I was comparing it too much to The Last of Us, but with like a little bit of a 28 Days Later vibe was what I had gotten originally.
Okay.
And then it became Sons of Anarchy with the motorcycles for a minute.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know what this game was anymore. And then it started to keep getting delayed.
Yeah. And
I was like, okay, this game is just never going to come out. And I'll pick it up when I pick it up. And then I asked I asked around if I should pick it up. I'm like, all right, we'll do it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And I've been enjoying myself. It doesn't do anything different, but that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
The one qualm that I have is what all open world games do. It's that like here's your mission all the way out on the other side of the map, and you're spending about 5, 10, 15 minutes traveling around.
Yeah.
On top of that, now you have to like fill up your gas, repair your motorcycle and all that stuff. And that's sort of like, that's fine. It's the traveling part, because I tend to start falling asleep at those moments.
Okay.
Like I actually get tired playing games like that, which is why
let me stop you right there. So like you were scared about The Last of Us vibes. Do you now, having played it, do you still feel like it's kind of copying The Last of Us, or do you feel like it is definitely its own game? That there is no comparisons other than there's undead in this game?
Yeah, no, yeah. I feel like that's the only comparison is there's Undead. It's definitely not The Last of Us for sure.
Yeah.
The story I will say is like it's got me intrigued. Like
Oh,
when
really?
you're listening in on certain things going on and then you're trying to put the pieces in your head together and then they start having those radio conversations in between while you're traveling, which sometimes are interesting. I'm like, oh wait, what did he say?
Yeah.
And they'll repeat it sometimes as you're going along too, which I will say I do like that just in case you missed anything the first time. But yeah, like that's sort of interesting, like trying to figure out, piece together what happened 2 years ago that, caused all this. Like, why
That's
is your
crazy.
wife,
Yeah, because we're kind of like on two opposite things. Because I don't like the story, and I don't like half of the characters.
yeah.
Like, because to me, the story just starts. Like, I was talking to Luke Lore about this. The one thing that I love about The Last of Us and beginning is that it starts you off as Joel's daughter. And then you have this relationship with Joel that you can see these two characters actually care for each other. They actually really do love each other. They have a strong bond. You really now don't want anything to happen to either one of these. And when Joel loses his daughter in the beginning of the game, it sets up what this game's going to be. And I feel like literally the intro is your wife has been shanked. And you're just like, well, who shanked her? I didn't see the shanking. I don't know who they are, really. So I don't have any emotional attachment. And then the game just starts in the tutorial stage. And I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah, no, I get that. And that was the same. I was exactly the same way at that part.
Yeah.
Where I was like, okay, what? But then I started doing some of the story missions. I was like, oh, okay, wait, it was one particular moment that got me in it. And I want to say it was like at the 3 hour mark, which at that point is kind of like, for me, is like a rarity, because usually I'm like out the first hour and a half if I don't find anything that catches me. But like I kept going. I was like, you know what? I spent $60 on this. Let's go a little bit further. And it was the stealth mission where you're trying to get intel on the military or whatever the people
I think
that
they're called like Nero officers.
Yeah, there you go, Nero. Yeah. And you're like sneaking around and you're trying to listen to what's going on.
Yeah.
And then they mentioned that dude O'Brien, and then he makes the connection. Hey, what was that doctor's name?
Yep.
When we sent homegirl to the helicopter. Yeah.
I feel like the problem with this game, and I really like the main problem, is the first 2 hours just aren't good. Like the tutorial, like how it shows you how this game's going to be played out, and the story.
I can see that.
There's just, it should have really started you at pre-apocalypse. You have an emotional attachment to your wife, which you should have, right? And then the story kind of like starts. The apocalypse happens, and then bam, you're Deacon St. John of the apocalypse. I think that would have been so much better. But so the story is it's all right. It's nothing to write home about. The open world. So we're talking about writing. The thing that I was so hesitant about walking in on this game was the motorcycle. When they were like, oh, you're going to have to retrieve your motorcycle. I was like, oh, no. Oh, I hate this. You're going to have to refill. I'm like, oh, it better not be all the time. But when I'm riding around, I'm actually genuinely enjoying how the bike handles. I'm really yeah, I'm actually liking how it moves, and I kind of like how, I don't know, when you hit a certain angle, you kind of have to maneuver your bike in certain ways, and I've mastered drifting, so like doing a drift on a motorcycle is so much fun. No, you don't have that at all?
And I'm glad you brought it up, because I completely forgot about that. I am terrible at the motorcycle in this game. Dude, tell me how I just had a little broken road like this, and I crashed into the thing and died. Like, the handling for me was just terrible. Now, I know you can, like, upgrade your motorcycle. I haven't gotten to that point. So I'm hoping that does the handling get any better or anything?
Well, and that's the thing, right? You have gotten to the point, Joe. The game just really didn't tell you well.
Jesus Christ. Well, no, I just... Yeah. I met some old lady, and she's running this whole village or whatever, and then I had to make a decision, give the drugs to homie Manny, right?
Or the lady. And so I chose the dude because I wanted to upgrade my motorcycle more.
That's what I did, yeah.
Yeah, so like the one thing, and we'll get to the systems in a sec, but like the open world, I like it for the most part, but I think what they could have done, what I think they could have put emphasis on, was there's some moments where you actually, because you didn't clear out a camp, like bandit camps actually matter, and they'll actually put traps along your path. I think if
Dude, that was wild.
yeah, if they do more of that, that would be fantastic. Have a more dynamic open world similar to like Red Dead Redemption 2. This game would be freaking stellar just with that alone.
Yeah, I was surprised at that. I was like, wait, did I just step in a bear trap? Oh, did I step in another bear trap? I was like, what the hell is going on?
There was a point where I'm just like riding to a town and there was like a wire. No way you could have saw it. And they just literally knocked me off my motorcycle. And he's just like, oh, goddamn drifters. You have to fight
my
through them.
God.
I'm like,
Jeez.
if there's more moments like that, that would be dope. That would be dope. But like, for the most part, I say I like the open world. It's great. I'm sorry, it's good. It's not great. There could be improvement, but it's kind of fun. With that, the systems. How do you like the combat in this game, Joe?
Combat. I don't know why this reminds me of like that really weird, slightly smoother Silent Hill combat. Where you just have a melee weapon and you just start whacking them with it.
Yeah.
I wish there was a lock on of some sort, or like, I don't know. It just feels weird, but I am getting used to it.
Okay.
And Silent Hill is the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
The one on the PS3. I can't remember the full title of it, but it's like the one that. Downpour.
I was gonna say Chain of Memories. Is that Kingdom Hearts?
Yo, I'm not even gonna lie. I had Chain of Memories in my head just now too. I was gonna say that, and I was like, no, that's not it. This is Book of Memories, right? Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Like I felt like it was like that. Like I was just like hitting them with what R2 or whatever. I'm just like, okay, takes some getting used to. I'm not the biggest fan, but it's
competent.
It's enough.
Yeah, I like the weapon wheel system a lot. You're making like all these like weapons and like Molotovs off. Like it takes some getting used to because it's definitely a new mechanic that we don't see a lot. The weapon wheel actually, when you hold down on a certain item, it actually gives you more options. So if you're looking at like a bottle or a Molotov, it'll show you, hey, you have more grenades than just a Molotov. You want to select something else, or you want to make more Molotovs? And you're just like, hell yes, because there's a zombie horde. They're chasing me. Yes, I do. I want
There's
that.
a nest right behind me that is burned up.
Please. The shooting gets way better once you start unlocking things, which is just typical like RPG-ness. But I felt it was a little bit too slow and a little bit too sticky on certain enemies, if that makes any sense.
Really? Like, in what way?
I don't know. I felt like when I was aiming down the sights, it was just taking forever to move to one target to the other. And I'm thinking that's because there is no kind of like, you know, when you're playing when you're playing a console game, right? It actually helps you aim a little bit.
Yes,
I forget what it's called because finals week.
It's like aim assist. But
aim assist, yeah. There is none, I believe, in this game. So
they're in the options. I'm almost positive I saw it. I had it turned off by default.
Okay,
I'm
turning that shit off. Yeah, because I'm wasting.
Yeah.
But combat overall decent, right?
Yeah, combat decent. It's not great. It's not terrible. Okay. I dig it. I did just want to mention one thing. Your mic has been crackling, and I don't know if it's coming into recording.
It's not. Don't worry about it. And even if it is, guess what? It's fine.
I'm just.
So with that, combat's decent. The story is decent. Open world, decent. At the end of the day, this game's decent, right?
Yeah. It's and I don't mean. I don't mean it in any like negative connotation. Like, it's a good game. It's a good game. I don't know if you're gonna go to this next thing, so I'll hold off. But
no, go for it. Go for that next thing.
No, I was gonna say, like, if I were to recommend it to someone, like, I would say, hey, wait for a sale. You know, it's a good game, but it doesn't do anything new, in my opinion, other than that upgrading wheel system. To me personally, it feels like when you're in that world, it's great, but the way it plays is like any other open world game that I've played, if that makes sense.
No, I think it totally makes sense. Like, the one thing we almost forgot was the hordes that you encounter throughout the game. Those are intimidating, and those are a lot of fun, but they are a bit scarce in supply. At least I've run into, in my 10 hours of playing, I think about like 3, maybe 4. And for the most part, they're really fun, but I think you're right. Overall, at the end of the day, the game is fine. Like, if you really are itching for a new game to play, I would say go out there, you could buy it for $60. I don't think you're going to have regrets. But typically, I do think this is maybe a wait for sale. But I'm enjoying it. I don't think, a lot of people are like, oh, this is Sony's Crackdown, or this is Sony's Sea of Thieves. And I'm like, no. No. That's very false. I really do hope that Ben gets another chance with this IP to take it somewhere, because I definitely see that this game has promise.
Yeah, and also people have to remember, Ben was the PSP, PS Vita studio. Yep. Like,
this is
Siphon Filter
game since Siphon Filter. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
give him credit, dude.
Exactly. I think the next one, this allows them, like you just said, to kind of step it up on that next one.
Hey, Joe, what we've been playing has now taken up 20 minutes. It's fantastic.
You can chalk it to mini reviews, right?
You know what? You're right. This is a mini review. It's Days Gone. Okay, guys? Stop yelling at me, all right? And let's talk about the news. Let's get into the goobers. The first story on the goober is, hey, you know what? Days Gone might not be reviewing well, but it's selling pretty damn well. This comes from Push Square, both these references that I'm getting at. PlayStation 4 exclusive Days Gone has secured the biggest physical sales launch of the year so far in the UK. Impressively for the new intellectual property, Days Gone beat the sales of Capcom's Resident Evil 2, Ubisoft's Far Cry New Dawn, and The Division 2. Its launch week physical sales were 27% lower than last year's exclusive adventure game called God of War. Never heard of it. Also, Days Gone debuted on the UK charts at number 1, outselling Mortal Kombat. So my question for you, Joe, do reviews really matter anymore, man?
It's funny. It's like, I'll read a review every now and again just to kind of like see if my thoughts line up with other people's thoughts. But I stopped reading reviews a long time ago, and more than that, like, whenever it came to reviews, I never really focused on the score. So that's never been at the forefront for me as far as like what a review got. For the most part, I'll hear what everyone in like my streams would say, and like, oh, this game got this game has like this amount of bugs or whatever, people are complaining about this. So that's how I get my information sometimes. But if I really am curious about a game and I don't and I want to know more about it, I'll watch a gameplay, or I'll watch someone else on like YouTube give their thoughts on that game or something like that. That's mostly how I find, like, through like Rad Brad was for a long time a person that I would go through. He does all these walkthroughs. He's been around since like 2010 or something like that, and he does all these playthroughs of like all the AAA title games. So if there's a AAA game that I'm curious about, I used to go to him a lot and just like check around. Now, you have your Game Explains, you have your spawn waves and all that stuff. But yeah, no, that's where I would normally go if there's a game that I'm just like, what's this about? Let me check it out or something like that. Or I'll check out a trailer, and if the trailer has enough gameplay, that sort of sets the tone for me as to whether or not I'll pick it up. Yeah,
for me, so when I say like, do reviews matter? I definitely do believe that review scores, they matter. And for like going all the way back to Anthem, there was like a tweet that I did not like from Mikey Ibarra, where he was kind of like talking about how like these reviewers just didn't understand the game. He got a little bit too defensive. And he boxed himself in a corner. And I feel like that's kind of childish, and it's also kind of unprofessional to do, especially when like your game, like you are paying for the exclusive advertising for a game. So one thing that I got to give props to for Ben Studios and for the team over at PlayStation, these reviews dropped for Days Gone, and nobody said a word. right? Like everybody was just like, play it, you know. like I didn't see Sean Layden just like, guys, actually, I don't trust reviews anymore. Calling me old fashioned, but like I didn't hear any of that. When I mean is when do reviews have the same impact they used to, I guess, is where I'm really coming at. And I don't think they do anymore. I mean, it's clear this game sold gangbusters. And if this was in, like, the mid-2000s, I don't think this game would have done that well if all we had to see when it comes to video game reviews or just gaming is just the gameplay trailer that the company provides and the IGN score. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I don't think it has the same impact that they once had, but for the most part, I think... I'm sorry, people are talking in the other room, and it's really aggravating. And I'm sorry, Italians. They're both Italian, and they're really loud. It's breaking my concentration. Hey. But yeah, no. There's our Italian audience. But no, when it comes to like reviews, I don't think they're as influential as they once were. But I don't think it's something that like I toss out just because they're somewhat antiquated, So no, I don't think they have the same impact that they used to. Moving on to our next story. Hideo Kojima teases possible new Death Stranding trailer on Twitter. This comes from PS Lifestyle. A possible new trailer for Hideo Kojima's highly anticipated horror game starring Nathan Drake, Norman Reedus, Death Stranding, has been teased by none other than the man himself, Kojima, posting an image on Twitter which shows Death Stranding screen displayed on the left monitor and with the second monitor to the right showing some sort of editing process. Also, to mention this, the lady that has, like, I forget her name, again, finals week. Robert Bobby Miller put a tally down every time I say it's finals week. But she does like the orchestra stuff for all the MGS games. She also has like a song she also tweeted out on Twitter, and it's an original song. Like nobody can put a name to what the song she was playing was. So my question to you, sir, undoubtedly we're going to see a new Death Stranding trailer. Do you think State of Play is coming? A new State of Play? And do you think it's soon? How soon? Near E3? What are we talking here?
Thanks. So yeah. I would say, yeah, I'd imagine we probably would get a state of Decay, State of Play. There's too many similar names between games.
We're breaking down this podcast, man. We're breaking down.
Goodness, dude. We're two halves. We're becoming a whole right now. We got this. But yeah, State of Play. I would imagine the safe bet would be they do something either during E3, even though they're not physically going to be there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, they're gone. They're not ever coming back. Maybe sort of. But yeah. Yeah.
So either they do something like that on like E3 week or a little bit before, I would say might be the safe way to go.
Yeah.
But that's just my own opinion.
How dare you?
As far as I know, right? Gosh. But yeah, as far as the Death Stranding trailer, I mean, we're in this weird era where, if it's gonna come to if whether it's a post like on Twitter that'll just be like, here's your trailer, here you go, to the here's a YouTube link or whatever. I could see that just as much as this thing showing up at State of Play, but maybe Sony's taking that feedback from the first State of Play, or maybe State of Play is just the thing that will be these other titles, and they'll save AAAs for their own thing,
for their own moment type of deal.
Yeah, kind of like give them one spotlight. Here you go. Here's that. But then State of Play has all these other things, and
kind of like when Nintendo does like the Smash Directs type of deal. That's actually a pretty cool idea.
Yeah,
I'm not totally against that. Actually, that's pretty dope. But like that would have to mean this game's coming out this year, which I don't think is the case.
Yeah. Dude, you'll have your degree and I'll be in like 2 other jobs by the time that game drops.
Yo, dude, we'll have kids sitting on the porch with our retirement plans,
Remember the time Kojima said?
Remember that time he stepped up on the staircase that had all the sparkly lights to it? Those were the days.
Oh my God.
Those were the days. Yes. Are you a big Metal Gear Solid fan, Joe?
I'm not like hardcore or anything, but I do like the series. I played 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And I played something else.
Guns of the
Solid
Patriots or something like that?
Yes, 4. That's 4, right?
Yeah,
I played the crap out of 4. I don't know why, but
My
I
brother-
played the.
My brother loves 4, and he loves the PSP games. Can't get enough of them.
PSP games were good. I heard
Yeah.
Peace Walker and the other one, right?
Yeah. So where is your hype on Kojima, like this game in itself? Because I didn't even know it was a horror game, to be honest. Because we all don't know what this game is.
I don't think it is a horror game. I don't know what this is.
Yeah, man.
It's a Kojima game. I feel like this is going to be one of these things that it's just going to be in production for a considerable amount of time, and it's just kind of going to be what he wants it to be, and that'll be. Can we just put a genre Kojima? Because I feel like that's what this is going at.
Dude, seriously, same. It's like it's a Kojima game, and you're either down with it or you're not. You know that's like, I'm not.
It's like that avant-garde.
Yeah, I'm not a Metal Gear Solid fan at all. So I'm just like,
okay,
it's a game. Like, I get it. He's very talented. I'm not saying he's not. Everybody calm down.
He loves to tell his stories.
But like, hey, it's just not for me. Now when Death Stranding comes out, of course I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see what it is. But like, I honestly don't understand the fanfare. I know it's a big deal. It's just like Star Trek, right? Like, those dorks, they love their Star Trek discoveries, right? Their Galacticas or whatever. And I'm just like,
my God.
I got my lightsaber, man. I don't need this, but that's fine that you like this garbage,
No, I will say he has a way interweaving like storylines together relatively well and like connecting the dots. Like with 4, he connected a lot of stuff from the other Metal Gears relating to Solid Snake and some of the other games, which I thought was pretty neat. I just feel like this was in that like those couple of years where we were just getting game announcements way too early. And I think that was the same year we got Final Fantasy VII Remake. They were like, Crackdown was another one. I think that same year, like just all these games that were announced way too early.
Scalebound too, yeah.
Scalebound, yeah. Fable, oh my God, yeah. Shutdown, like just all these different things. And Kojima, I feel like, is become the exception because he's Kojima, and at least he's promoting it what I think is the right way and showing like bits here and there to keep the game relevant instead of just like, here it is, and everyone kind of
he shows enough to build intrigue, and he shows enough not to say like, okay, I mean, for me it's just like, dude, just show me the game when it's ready. But every time like people are like, okay, like now it's finally getting to the point where like, all right, show me this game already. But like, I gotta applaud the guy because, dude, it's been, it's only been like 4 years, and he had to create the studio himself. So like, he had no infrastructure. He had to find a place, rent it out, fill the paperwork, get the computers in there,
find the engine,
find the engine, hire a tech guy named Steve. Like, they had to do all these things.
Steve's been working hard, man. Let me tell you.
Steve, he doesn't get enough credit that he deserves.
Right?
Also, talking about this episode, let's get real with you. There's a train outside, and now it's mocking me. So we got my best friend that's talking all Italian.
Dude, I don't hear anything.
Okay, good. And then there's just the giant train going choo-choo in my ear, and I just want to slap the conductor. He's probably Andy House. He's probably like, you know what, Joe? This is what you get for coming to my house, stealing my goddamn Turkish delight, you son of a bitch. But
dude,
getting back on Kojima, and you're gonna see the greatest segue you've ever done seen in your life. There's like one quote where he's just like, finding new stories is difficult to me. I could like go to the bathroom and come back and I'll have something. I'm like, why are you talking about taking a dump, Kojima? What is this? I could drop a deuce, come back. It's fine.
Yo, I just came up with $1 million idea. Norman Reedus, Guillermo del Toro. Come on, let's go.
Let's go. I just took an epic dump. I'm going to tell you about it. Talking about epic dumps, you see this segue? The Sonic trailer. This should show you how slow the news has been this week. We're talking about the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer. Gotta go fast. Joe, of course you've seen this.
Oh man, I watched it on mute speaking of taking dumps, I watched it in the bathroom while scrolling through my phone.
Yeah.
At work.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this?
Now, have you played it with sound?
I have not played it with sound because I refuse to.
Honest to God, I think you're better for it. Okay, first issue. Sonic's fucking face is terrifying. It straight up reminds me of Michael Myers' Cat in the Hat.
Oh my god! Oh wow! Oh my goodness! That was a little creepy.
It's like it's somewhat animal, but then it's like a human face on a hedgehog, and it has human teeth. And then I'm looking at, like, when he's screaming, like when he's like before he gets tranked, I'm just like, I'm scared. Is this a horror movie?
Oh my god!
Why does Sonic look like a Fuggle?
What?
And Joe, the song they play.
I did hear that.
You would think it's Sonic. You're going to play something from the Genesis, maybe like sneak a little like 8-bit, 16-bit in there, you know?
Nah.
They played the intro on loop of Gangster's Paradise by Coolio.
I wonder what the thought process was to that. I wonder if that has any hidden meaning to the story of this.
I think the producer was just like, as I walk down the valley of the of shadows and death, I take a look at myself and realize there's nothing left.
Dude,
let's go make a Sonic movie.
Oh my gosh. I will say, yeah, he doesn't look the greatest.
God. Jim Carrey?
It could be a lot worse. Jim Carrey, I thought looked cool. Like, I like that they did the before and after with like him with the hair, and then I think someone found a leaked clip of him bald.
Yeah, that's at the very end. Like the very end.
Okay. So then I just missed that part.
Honest to God, you missed it. You're better for it. Everybody's like, well, at least they got him semi right? And I'm like, no. Stop. No, stop. Knock it off. He looks like garbage. And I'm not going to... He looks like... You remember, you know the Tales of the series of unfortunate events? He was a part of?
Yes.
That's what the vibe I get from. But like if it was colorful. And I'm like, this doesn't look good, guys. We need to stop. So Famous Seamus asks us.
Oh, no.
So that Sonic trailer. Yeah, let's throw that garbage where it belongs and make our own Sonic movie. How would you make a Sonic movie? Joe? I'm gonna modify that question as I always do. We're in the mind of Shuhei Yoshida. That's right. Shuhei has decided he's taken it upon himself. He's entered into the Paramount Studios. He's like, I am the captain now. He has strapped everybody in the chair. He is now in control of the Sonic movie. So now if I was you, Joe, how are we fixing Sonic?
I guess I'd ask Mark Cerny, who used to work for Sega. No, but
I'm very excited to show you the new Sonic game movie based on Sonic the Hedgehog. I've been working on this for 4 years. And I just have to say,
is what real fur case looks like.
This Mark Cerny impression, I'm fucking nailing it. You can barely hear me.
Oh, man.
And I have some enthusiasm, but just like a mouse type of enthusiasm.
Oh my god.
So okay, we get Mark Cerny in there. How does Mark Cerny
I mean, all
this?
jokes aside,
yeah.
Like, that person that's been like fixing. All right, so first off, let me just set the preface.
Okay.
Sonic could look a lot worse. All right, at least they put some effort into this. He could look a lot worse. It's not going to be a great movie. Let me not. I have the expectation set in my mind that it's not going to be a great movie. Will I see it at some point? If it's on Netflix, probably.
I've learned my lesson with Venom. I liked
Venom. Like I thought Venom was okay. It's like Days Gone. It's okay. Would I go to the theater to see it again? No.
Turn in the wind, dude.
But I mean,
yeah.
Like I think back to, because I watched this video a couple months ago. It was in my recommended feed, and we're gonna go Star Wars land for a second there with like
I'll
Jar
go
Jar
Star
Binks?
Land with you 100%.
But like the character Jar Jar Binks, like someone worked on that.
Yes.
And someone also had to act that person, and that dude like went through the only like crazy mental breakdown. Like he told his story and everything. I was like, damn, I never thought about that. So now I have to think twice about what I say and where I put it, because sometimes it's like, yeah, we can have these pent up emotions, but we have to like at least appreciate and respect the fact that someone went in and tried to make it the absolute best, and they're probably working with someone else that's telling, no, it has to look like this. And you know what? Yeah. I get that.
Yeah, it's probably some suit who doesn't give a shit, and they're like, no. I know how video game movies are supposed to look.
Yeah. But with that said, the person that's been like doing these fix-ups of Sonic and making him animated in the thing, it like, and doing a side-by-side comparison, like the one with his mouth open, like and then them fixing it to look like the Sonic we know. Amazing. Hire that person. Bring him to the team. Let's make Sonic a CGI character. Yeah. There's
a
Premiere
way
can do
to
all these
make him
things.
look like Detective Pikachu is excellent. I mean, from what we've seen, the trailers,
terrifying and amazing at the same time.
Yeah. Well, what's terrifying? Like Mr. Mime is just
the Pokemon. The Jigglypuff looks terrifying.
Cute. I love it.
Oh my god! I'm like, this looks adorable, but this looks like it would eat my face if I like went to pet it.
Yeah. But like when I look at Detective Pikachu, there's like this perfect blend of like, okay, the eyes don't look like what we see like on the cartoons, but it translates insanely well because they still look like animals, but they still look like the original concept's there. You know what I mean? Like the way the basics of how the Pokemon look are all there. They just change and tweak a few things so they make it so like the eyes, for example, right? They're animal looking eyes instead of like the little dots on their eyes. And that's how they really get things looking fine. Like there's fur on them, and the way that the fur looks like is just enough to make it look like they're a real animal. You know what I mean? With Sonic, I feel like they could have taken that route where instead of it being, I understand the problem of one giant, like, weird-looking eye. What about you just make it so that there's a white hair right here? And then it's fine.
Make it part of his eyebrow line or something.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're totally fine. Yeah. And then he doesn't look fucking horrifying. Like, that's the shit of nightmares. And then I really think we take out Gangster's Paradise. Actually, we take the suit that is involved with all of this, right? The guy that's drinking his, soy moi, latte, Yeah. We take him and we just throw him off a cliff. But he lands safely, but, he learns his lesson. You know what I mean? And then we just get Mark Cerny in there. He's like, okay, guys, I'm very excited. We're not going to do Gangster's Paradise because that movie just doesn't fit. So what we're going to do is actually put in nostalgic Sonic music. And we're going to hire writers that respect Sonic's character. It's going to be great, and we're all going to enjoy it. And you know what?
Oh my god.
It doesn't even have to take place on Earth. It could just be where Sonic lives. And if you have a problem with that, and then Mark Cerny pulls out a fucking Desert Eagle, cocks it. He's like, you can kiss these rings, bitch.
Yo. Oh my god. But what was that shockwave that he did? Like, he didn't even have a power-up.
Okay.
Was that supposed to be like his Sonic boost or something?
Yeah, it's supposed to be his boom. Also, I forgot to... Dude, okay, how did I almost forget this? He has the power of Doctor Strange. His rings that he throws are portals.
Oh my god, he's Hoopla, the Pokemon.
Yeah. So
that's right. I do remember hearing about this.
Yeah. Mark Cerny cocks it again. And we're taking out those stupid Doctor Strange hoops. Or so help me God. Don't make me use this. I've watched Endgame 14 million times, and I didn't spoil it. What are
I'm
we
done.
doing?
I'm
Let's get to the PlayStation games,
Oh man.
free games of the month of May. This comes from the PlayStation blog. Your monthly PlayStation Plus games of May. What the hell? PlayStation blog. Okay, this is why Colin usually reads it. You know what? Here's what type of episode we're running, Joe. Your free PlayStation Plus games of the month of May are What Remains of Edith Finch and Overcooked.
Oh yeah, that's right. They got rid of PS3 and Vita, right? I forgot.
So now there's just two games. May is not a good month for free games, whether you're Xbox or PlayStation. I'm going to be real with you. These are both bad. Right?
I gotta check the Xbox ones because I thought they updated it with other games.
Did they? Were
later
they
on in
just
the
like,
month?
this is so bad, wait.
I remember Bland Explosion posting up on Twitter or something, and the games had looked pretty good compared to the ones that I had read about a couple days before.
Let's see, because you know what? We're not. It's Marooners, The Golf Club, 2019.
And that was
Earth
like all
Defense
like
Force, the one that was on 360.
Yeah.
And then Comic Jumper, The Adventure.
Okay, so maybe it is still just like games.
It's not very good.
Okay, I must have been looking at something else.
But you know what? I will say this. I'm just being over dramatic and tired. What Remains of Edith Finch? I'm actually going to download it. Usually, I download these games.
It's free.
It's free, right? Do you do this too? Have you ever actually played one of the free games? Yeah, me neither.
I'm nodding no for those listening.
Yeah, same here. I don't. But actually,
I've played a couple, but I mean, few and far between.
Yeah, I download them and I just never touch them. I'm like, okay, I have these whenever I want to play them, but it's cool. Go out there. Yeah. Marcus O'Neill writes in, either though they didn't specify or indicate as much as I was expecting more than 2 games, even a small indie or 2, certainly adding PSVR games to their monthly offerings. What are your thoughts on the PlayStation Plus value right now? Could maybe, he's like, you could maybe discuss this on this week's podcast. So what do you feel like right now with the PlayStation Plus? Do you feel like it's actually adding value by taking away, PS3 or PlayStation Vita games and just giving you these 2 games? Do you feel like there's value in Plus or in a Games of Gold type service?
So, I mean, with the dropping of the Vita and the PS3, there had to have been a significant drop off for them to finally warrant dropping off those titles. Plus, you can only go through so many more titles. I feel like I could have sworn Edith Finch was already a PlayStation Plus title, but I could then again I could be totally wrong there. Overcooked, I'm surprised hasn't made the rotation. It's a really solid game.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have 2, bam, you got it right there. Play it with a friend. You will probably kill each other, but it's a fun game. I mean, to me personally, when it comes to paying for these services, when I owned a 360, I got into Xbox Live, but I bought it with the notion of playing with my friends. I knew that I was spending $50 at the time to play with my friends.
Yeah.
And that was sort of it. On the PlayStation 3 side, it was free. So I was like, oh, great. I didn't really have anybody that played PlayStation other than myself and one of my roommates. But when we multiplayed on the 360. When it came to PS4, towards the tail end of the PS3 era, I finally bought into PS Plus because then I found out about the free games and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, great. But I never really jumped into the free games because most of the time I would have, if it was a game that was dropping, I might have already had it either on that console or another console. So either I had beaten it or was already going to plan on playing it prior to it dropping on PS Plus. So that's the other thing too. However, the sales are really handy. I think that's the driving factor.
Yeah. Right now, I know there's 2 sales going on where it's I forget what it's called. I think it's the Villains sale.
Yes.
And then I think there's a gold sale going on, which is ironic.
Yeah, Golden Week. Japan.
Golden Week, yeah. I was going to put it in the show notes, but I was just it's only going to last a week. Some people watch it when the week's up, so I don't want to alienate those people and get them all hyped, and then they realize they couldn't buy Witcher 3.
You should have been here.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, to me, the value of PlayStation Plus is still there because I never played PlayStation 3 games. I never played the Vita games after I got my PlayStation 4. So, like, for me, I was always just downloading the PlayStation 4 games anyway. So I think it matters because we don't see as long of a list like we used to, and that's what's getting in some people's minds.
Yeah.
And totally understandable, by the way. But for me, there's still value in it because, dude, I bought The Witcher 3 for $11.79 or $69. That's what she said. Yeah.
Disgusting. Disgusting.
Yeah, so I was just like, yeah, no, this is dope. I could have bought this. I saved like $4 by doing the gold. Whatever, or sorry, PlayStation Plus. So no, I still feel like there's value to it. I do think with the PlayStation 5 on the horizon, we're going to definitely see PlayStation VR games start populating the monthly circuit of here's your free game. I just think they're waiting for the install base for PSVR to grow, and also the amount of games to grow as well before they start handing out all these free games. Because remember, the library for VR is still really small, so they can't just give you Astrobot as much as it's freaking amazing.
And I was gonna say, like, a lot of those good games are very few and far between. I feel like on the PSVR. Granted, that library is slowly growing, but it's. The hits that are there are like I can probably count on two hands. Is that fair to say?
How dare you? But no, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. Like you would never see Beat Saber on there.
Yeah. You might see it on a sale. Yeah, but I mean,
you'll never see. Like you won't see Ghost Giant on there. No. Yeah. So like I say you got. Give it a couple of years, right? Like PlayStation 5, this should have been on the news, but again, finals week, Bobby Miller put a title up. PlayStation 5's not coming out anytime soon. Like, we can expect it sometime late 2020, holiday season. So they got another year and a half to build that quality of, PSVR games. So I think the value's there. I just don't... I understand the concern. You know what I mean? So... that's all I got. Just quick to note, Borderlands 3 gameplay trailer dropped. Joe, this game looks freaking sick. This is, God, Kyle, I miss you. Because here's the thing, Kyle loves Borderlands, Joe.
I love the first Borderlands.
Loves it.
I played half of Borderlands 2.
Loves it. And so, for me, I've never played it.
Really?
Like Borderlands 1, like I've played them, but only like the first hour. And then I never had anybody else to play with. Yes.
I'm like this close to buying Borderlands on the PS4 just so I can take you through Borderlands 1. We will run shop.
Dude, real talk. I have Borderlands 2 on the PlayStation 4. This is what Kyle said. He said, just give me a time and place. We're going to play it together. And so after finals week, would you be down to play with Borderlands 2 with us?
Man. I may have to buy this.
Dude, let's team up, bro.
Because I got everything on PC, so it was just like auto update.
Yeah.
To the
what's a PC? I don't even know what that is.
This guy. So I'm like close to halfway through Borderlands 1. I've been taking my time because playing through that game brings back so many memories, man.
So you're already on board for Borderlands 3. You don't even need to see this gameplay trailer.
No, I am. As soon as I saw the teaser prior to PAX East, I was like, here we go. I was hoping for was maybe a Switch port at some point, but
guess what? Guess what? We play on a grown-up console over here, okay?
Listen, all right? Listen, okay? Listen, speaking of grown-up consoles, let's talk about that Borderlands 2 port on the Vita, huh?
Let's talk about it. It's perfect.
Nothing wrong with it at all.
Nothing ever wrong with it. No bugs.
And the story. It was a great game. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe even 11 out of 10, to be honest. Joe, what if I told you, and I listed a few things off here. There's no microtransactions.
Okay.
Kind of. Not really, actually. They're microtransactions. This was a huge hubbub on Twitter. Randy Pitchford got fucking pissed at Game Informer because Randy Pitchford said out on stage, there's no microtransactions. You're playing this game. What you have is what the game is meant to be. And I feel as though I'm giving, and oddly enough, they had the conference at a medieval times. Very weird. Very out of character of Randy Pitchford. But I'm only kidding.
Is he texting you right now?
Yeah, he's just like, bring me, bring me back my thumb drive. But Game Informer put out a tweet saying, despite Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford's comment about no microtransactions in Borderlands 3, during the live stream, we've been told that cosmetic items are still being able for purchase. So yes, there are still microtransactions. I believe what Randy tried to say was that there are no microtransactions that affect gameplay. There's no loot boxes, just purely cosmetic stuff. And then, dude, again, we could go into the drama even more, but Randy Pitchford said this to that tweet. Come on, guys. Shitty clickbait headline. Literally seconds before I said that, I made it very clear we're going to do more cosmetic stuff like we did in Borderlands 2. You know, I was talking about premium currency and loot boxes. Not that kind of stuff in our game. Why you guys would fuck me on this is beyond me. Thanks a lot. I'm like, whoa, Randy. Jesus Christ.
He just dropped he just went...
Dude, and then he goes on further because one person calls him out. He's like, no, you said there was no microtransactions. There are microtransactions in this. And Randy goes, see, Game Informer, this is what your fuck-witted tweet is doing. Please correct... Oh, sorry, Sam, listen. Listen, this is Randy Pitchford. He's a bad man for using this language, okay? Tim Wolf, mute this for just 2 seconds. He goes, please correct your bullshit. This user believes and has called me a liar because you're incomplete, out of context clickbait bullshit here. You are better than this. Now, Tim Wolf, if you can raise your volume back up. And then, like, dude, how unprofessional is that? That is crazy. That's the head of a company.
Bro, I mean, I'd be heated too. And granted, there's a million other ways you could say that. I mean, come on, dude. Like,
yeah.
I mean, Randy Pitchford seems like the kind of guy who's just very no BS and will just tell it to you how it is situation.
And leave some shady thumbnails at medieval times. Yeah.
And leave some shady thumbnails. Oh my God.
But yeah, so there will be microtransactions. All that tweeting aside, there will be microtransactions. Randy Pitchford isn't lying. I think he's just very confused and probably very tired. I will give him the benefit of the doubt because if you just, as long as you're not putting him loot boxes, I'm fine. I'm fine with you have a skin where like you're what's this lady?
I mean,
Amara the Siren is dressed as an Eskimo. I don't care. As long as it's not like culturally appropriating it. All right, I'm putting myself in a box here. Number 2, Space Force. The biggest addition, the ability to travel beyond Pandora to other planets and systems, as foreshadowed by the end of... Your new home base is a giant spaceship called Sanctuary 3. Funny thing, when they introduce Sanctuary 3, this huge spaceship that acts as your hub, like a hub in Destiny, they go, here's Sanctuary 3. Don't ask about Sanctuary 2. And like,
they're so witty with like what they do with even like boss names too. They always have like a little thing at the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Oh God! And then you see like Mad Moxie, you see Claptrap, and like all the other people. Number 3 is pretty dope. They very much said you can play this solo, no problem, because I know that was like an issue in previous Borderlands. Local and online co-op supported.
You can play that game. You can play both games solo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not Sekiro or Dark Souls.
Listen, I don't want Randy Pitchford yelling at me.
No, you can totally play. You can totally solo those games.
Okay. And then they also added like little mechanics called like sliding, and other little mechanics that we see in more modern games. The game looks freaking beautiful. It looks so beautiful. It's crazy how the shine, the lighting, everything in this game looks freaking gorgeous. The 4 classes, Amara the Siren, Flack the Beastmaster, I didn't see his gameplay, Zane the Operative, and then Maze the Gunner. And Maze, they actually legit, and now I'm on the Maze train right now. They took inspiration from Titanfall. They straight up said, yeah, no, we took inspiration from Titanfall, the Titans, and that's what the mech suit looks like.
That's
so
awesome.
Look at the gameplay. When she hops in the mech suit, Luke Lore, you're gonna cream your fucking jeans. You're straight up, you're in, it feels like you're in the Titan. It's dope, and I'm so in on this game. This 3-minute trailer had me, I'm like, just take it. Is there an Ultimate Edition I need to pre-order? Because I need this game in my life, injected in my veins.
I feel like you will really enjoy Borderlands 2 then. You liked what you saw here, because what you're seeing here is a lot of what Borderlands is, and I'm glad that they're sticking to what it is, and they're tweaking it and not completely overhauling this game, it seems like.
And that's the big thing they emphasis. They talked about like Destiny and Division, seeing what other companies are doing, and they're just like, let's just keep on making Borderlands. Like, people like, it's like ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's just tweak it where it needs to be tweaked instead of trying to rewrite the book on Borderlands. So I liked it a lot.
And it's funny you mentioned there's no loot boxes. I mean, the entire game is a loot box. It's the definition of a loot shooter.
Yeah.
One of the OGs. So I mean, we're going back.
OG, right?
Yeah.
Next. Oh, sorry.
No. I'm excited. I'm excited to play as Amara because the Sirens have always been my character. Like,
Joe, can I be real with you?
All the way. What's up?
Let me like. I feel like, because we were so tired in the beginning, it took us like 20 minutes to get into the rigmarole. But now we're just nailing it.
Just going in. Now. I think we were going in the entire time.
Oh, yeah?
We okay. Like, the train was going slow a little bit, but like, we were still... We're here.
Yeah, now the dog's disagreeing with me in the back. She's like, no, you guys always had it, Joe. The next bit of news, Rocket League joins Epic Games. This literally dropped like an hour before recording. Today is a big day for us. This comes straight out of Rocket League's mouth. They say today's a big day for us here at Pysonix because, just as the headline says, we're officially joining the Epic Games family. Your question to the news like this might be, what does this mean for Rocket League and its community? We're happy to say that the answers are only positive. Rocket League always has been and always will be community driven, and now that we've joined forces with Epic, we will be able to serve our community in a bigger and better ways. And they pretty much stated too throughout the article, literally nothing's changed in terms of what you as a customer can expect. Again, this is, just words right now. But nothing changes. They're just now owned by Epic. This news, Joe, what are your first takes?
This is insane. Epic Games is just going in on everything right now. Yeah. I will take the nothing is changed with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
And that is for PC players specifically. Because there is no surprise. I mean, they have gone exclusive 6-month to year windows with a lot of these games that you keep hearing announced. Borderlands has a 6-month exclusivity.
Sure.
I think on the console side, I can see nothing changing. Mm-hmm. But PC players might be upset.
Yeah.
Might be upset for those playing Rocket League. And I have a person in particular in our community that plays Rocket League PC. I'm curious to know what he thinks because I feel like this could lead to, if Rocket League ever has a sequel, and I know Pysonix has been very vocal about not making a sequel to Rocket League, but expanding on what Rocket League is.
Yeah.
I can easily see the PC market in particular getting, 6 months on Epic Store for these particular skins, and then going over to Steam thereafter the fact.
Or what if they just take it out of Steam? They're like, this is our exclusive now.
Oof. I think that's too much bad blood.
Yeah.
I think that is way too much bad blood.
Yeah.
But they have to tread very carefully on this. I'm curious more so on the PC side than anything with how this goes.
Yeah. I'm also curious what else Pysonix has in mind, because there has to look at the long term. I mean, Rocket League probably prints shitloads of cash still, but why still though? You know what I mean? Like what's in it for Pysonix? What's in it for Epic? What is in it for either of them? Because I feel like they were both doing fine alone. Is it for the esports side? and more funding for
know,
esports stuff.
that could be a possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, is Epic even known? What does Epic have? Well, no,
Fortnite?
never mind. Sorry. Yeah. I know that, but is Fortnite even competitive? I mean, they're streaming for sure.
Yeah, no, they have like $1 million cups and stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yep.
Yeah, and
you're
Ninja
right.
made video
Completely
games
forgot
popular.
about that.
Yeah.
Yes, thanks. This guy.
That guy's ego, man.
But yeah, I think that could play into it because there are Rocket League tournaments. But maybe that's the next step. That building a big enough team, because I don't know how big Pysonix is, but it's got to be.
It's got to be pretty big because they keep pumping out updates for this, yeah.
But maybe they want to get to a point where they can grow enough team to just continuously bring out content a little more frequently. I don't know what the frequency is right now, but across all, you're looking at Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. That's 4 platforms. Maybe they want to get to the mobile market. Maybe they want to,
True. That is true. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Damn.
There's so many different ways you can go with this thing. It's interesting and scary at the same time.
Well, that's all for the news. We didn't do the drop this week. My apologies. I literally forgot as we were prepare the drop. I didn't prepare. That Joe's on the floor.
Do you mind if I let my cat out real quick?
Oh, absolutely. You go, because I got to tell the story of how he stole Andrew House's all the shit. So you got like a good 5 minutes. As Joe is taking his cat out, all right, we're going to talk about Andrew House because our new segment, Andrew House's Snail Mail. Now, you guys know each and every week you can write to us on PS Trophy Room on Twitter or the Casa de Bad Bit Discord server. Or you can send your mail to Andrew House's house, and I personally will go to his house and steal his letters, his mail, his personal diary, all of his shit. I don't care. I'll just take it. It's mine now, Andy. And Andy tried to spite me earlier by taking that train outside and just chewing it. But guess what, Andy? I got the last laugh, you son of a bitch. Because as you were chewing, I already left for England like 6 hours ago. Or you're on your plane in your little conductor suit feeling real smart about yourself because you're going to finally get me back this time, you stupid idiot. I flew to your house. I knocked on the door. The butler, Jeffrey... Guess what? We're personal friends. We play blackjack every Friday, you stupid fool.
Shout out to Jeffrey.
Shout out. He lets me in, and then I take his mail, and he's just like, here is your stuff. Here's your Turkish delights. Here's all of his licorice. He puts it in a backpack, and then he's just like, and we're taking Andy's personal plane to that. And I'm like, didn't he already have a personal plane? He's like, dude, the dumb idiot forgot his keys. He had to take a United flight. I'm like, stupid idiot. Jeffrey had the keys. So he flew my ass back to the States with your mail, with your licorice, with your Turkish delights. And Jeffrey left an upper ducker in all your bathrooms. Because he's not sick of your shit. Antonio writes in.
Speaking of Turkish Delight, in the third grade, I made Turkish Delight.
I have no idea what they are.
They're like green jelly coated in like some powder or something like that. I can't remember the recipe, but yeah.
I just think of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. We
read the book and then we made Turkish Delight for like Christmas or something like that.
I bet Andy was your teacher. He's just like, stupid kids, I'm going to take all this Turkish Delight for myself. He is a child factory. I can't say that.
No. It all makes sense now. We were in the kitchen.
Oh, goddamn. I turned red as a tomato.
That went dark real quick. Sam, I'm sorry.
Scratch the last 2 minutes out. It just does not count. Antonio writes in. He goes, I got a question. New info says that the PS5 is not coming out this fiscal year or before April 2020. Does the PlayStation 5 launch in the spring or the fall of 2020? It looks like Xbox is going to launch first. Does that give Xbox an advantage? I bet the big three, Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us, aren't coming out until the later half of 2020. and there are no surprises that they're launching this holiday. What do you think? That's a lot to unpack, Antonio.
Yeah.
Just like all those accusations. What's your fault, Sandy? What's your fault? Please don't sue me. He'll run me out of business. Yeah. So when's this?
Yeah. Sorry.
Don't worry about it. Trying to dig myself under this hole I put myself in. I could edit it out.
I'm pulling you right out. Let's go.
Okay. So spring or fall?
Honestly, I don't see a situation where I don't see a scenario where Microsoft or Sony would launch a console in the spring, only because that seems to be just like the Nintendo curveball.
Yeah.
Where that's a Nintendo thing. Nintendo tries to do the opposite of what everyone else does. Sometimes for the sake of just being different, just because they can,
or just not being like launching the Switch. I don't know if Nintendo thought it was going to have as big of an impact as it had, so they're just like, let's launch it in the spring and not with the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox in the holiday season. Just let it exist on its own.
Yeah, and like sometimes handhelds have dropped in the earlier half of the year. That's not a surprise. So it would make sense. They marketed this very heavy as a console game that you can take handheld, and that's why I feel like that March timeframe did make sense when you think about it in hindsight. But as far as a home console and like it being Sony and Microsoft, I feel like there are certain things that companies will be set in their ways towards launching just for the sake of familiarity with the market and where their most profitable season is, and that I feel like is still going to be the fall for them. I mean, you have a lot of the heavy hitters generally launching in the fall season, a lot of the AAA titles at least.
So for me, I think I'm right there with you. I don't think Xbox is launching this holiday season.
No,
I don't see that happening.
I can't.
And I mean, hey, more props to them if they do, but just seeing like Gears of War 5 seems like their swan song. That's coming out later this year. I just kind of feel like the way they're even talking about the xCloud, Wakanda Forever. I don't think they're talking about it like, oh my God, it's right around the corner. Oh my goodness gracious. They're talking about it like, we're still testing it. It's still whatever. So I think they're both coming out in 2020 in the winter. Yeah. So, but if Xbox did launch first, do you think that does give them the advantage next generation?
Things can only hopefully go uphill for Microsoft.
Yeah.
I say that with a little doubt. But I gotta give it, like, Phil Spencer has really turned the ship around with that company, and it just seems like everything they do that's right just can't give them a break.
Yeah.
And I mean, have they even ever once produced sales numbers, or did they just stop once they hit
just stopped
20, 30 million? Like,
yeah, they stopped at around, and now it's just all like rough estimates of what
So it's like, how many Xbox Ones have they sold in total between the three different types?
Around 40 million, I believe.
Is this thing going to be backwards compatible the way they reverse engineered the Xbox One to do?
I think you would. Yeah, one would assume. I mean, they're pushing backwards compatibility.
Yeah, that's one of the with the 4K updates as well that they continue to keep going through. Game Pass is a monster.
Hey! Remember what podcast you're on, okay?
I know.
Calm down, Luke Lore. All right, your check's come in the mail. Don't worry, you got a house.
Hey! Don't worry. PlayStation View. Jesus Christ! I've had View for a little bit. True story.
How is that? No, real talk.
It worked well. It worked well. It was just too pricey. It was like comparable to cable bills.
Oh wow!
To get like certain channels that you wanted. So I was just like, nah, I'm off this. Slingbox is a better deal than PlayStation View still.
I don't watch TV at all, so I don't even.
I used to no, I used to only have it for wrestling. So that was literally at Monday and Tuesday nights. I would use it for that. And then I would leave it on for the missus when she used to still watch basic cable, but Hulu and Netflix all the way. Sorry, I'm going
How
off
dare
tangent,
us.
but how dare us? But yeah, I mean, I sorry, we went way off track with
No,
the
don't worry.
Xbox and
I'll get you there.
PlayStation 1. But
Yeah, no, like Xbox is doing all the right things so far.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
saying all the right things,
and that,
yeah.
and that doesn't go to say with like PlayStation isn't doing the right things, but there are things that people are getting upset about
Yeah.
with Sony for
Especially
sure.
when it comes to like cross play, and like backwards compatible. Yeah, sure, the PlayStation 5 is going to be backwards with PlayStation 4, but you're seeing Xbox making active efforts. It seems like PlayStation's reacting to what Xbox is doing, not to what actual change is doing. Right? Like, like Xbox is being the protagonist. They're being very reactive to the market. They're actually doing innovative, crazy things. Like xCloud is nuts, right? Game Pass is innovation. I would say that, and I'll be even so bold. Look, I'm not in my car, right? I'm not here collecting my Xbox Canada check. Sean Capri, Luke Lore, I'm looking at you two, right? They're like, oh, Game Pass, oh, look at me. Whoa, oops, that's another body. Whoopsie-doo, Oh, sorry. That was another family,
Mickey Mouse is in Canada. Oh,
that's my Sean impression.
what?
He's just running over everything. He's like, oh, sorry. Oh, spilled my coffee. I don't even know where I was going with this. But like they're making all the right steps. So I actually think that gives them more of the advantage next generation than them just launching first. It's all
sorry, that way. Yeah. Know where we were going with that. Whether it would, if that would give the advantage of launching first. Okay.
Yeah, but, don't worry. I think we all lost.
Sorry, we all lost our marbles there. But yeah, I think you're onto something with that. What I think I will say to add to that though, if they launch first, that will give them something to talk about, and maybe they do need to launch first. So that way Sony can actually see some of the things that people have been upset about that Microsoft is doing right in terms of cross play, like you were just saying, in terms of, these games, this Netflix style of games, sort of like what they have with the PlayStation. What's their thing? With the classics and all that stuff.
PlayStation Classics.
Streaming.
PlayStation Now. This is sorry. We're playing charades.
Yeah,
right now.
PlayStation Now. Sorry, yes. And maybe integrating some of that into PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
Like make PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, I think they just have to.
Slightly more just to kind of add that in, I guess, maybe.
And we're seeing them do that. So I really don't think them launching first does anything. The one thing I really want to see out of Xbox is to put their money where their mouth is on crossplay. Because we saw Google Stadia go, we're going to be crossplay with anybody that will let us. I would love to see, and I think this is a big moment for Microsoft, if they're just like, hey, crossplay on anything. Yes, we're partnering with Stadia as well to provide gaming across the board. Because
I think it's happening.
If they don't, then it's just going to be like, well, Phil, you said you would, and then they're just going to kind of be blank on that. Like, are they going to allow one of the biggest tech companies in the world a spot at the table, type of deal? That's the thing I'm very interested to see, because if they do that, then PlayStation has to. They look like total assholes if they don't,
I don't know, do they? Because I feel like they do this thing where they build off the success of what worked before they realize the error of their way sometimes. And I feel like that's the one thing that maybe this is how Sorry, so what I was going to say before is we're in this weird timeline where everyone this next generation is finally doing something different. I feel like, yes, Microsoft and Sony are going to focus on the power. You have Nintendo doing this handheld hybrid with home console. Yeah. You have Sony, who's focusing in on the first party AAA titles very heavily, and VR, and maybe we'll see something from HoloLens finally. I hope. But Sony very much focused on giving you the AAA titles, still giving you indies. They had a heavy emphasis early in the generation on indies, and I feel like people have forgotten that.
Actually, there was a question about that too. Actually, I don't know why. Oh, there it is. Actually, Bobo
Yeah.
writes in. Let's get to his question.
Yeah.
We're gonna run real late on this. My apologies.
This is a good
Bobo
episode,
writes
man.
in. I've recently noticed that a lot of popular indie titles have made their debut on the Vita too. Hashtag the Nintendo Switch, but it is a Vita too, let's be real. Before possibly making their way to the PlayStation 4. Such amazing games like Celeste and The Messenger have taken 6 to 12 months to make their leap to PlayStation. Why do you think this has been happening? What does Sony have to do to attract these indie developers to drop their games on PlayStation first or at the same time? So why do you think all these kind of indies are abandoning ship from PlayStation, jumping on the indie bandwagon?
I just want to make a quick correction. I believe Celeste launched same day on the PS4.
It did. You're correct. Okay. Bobo, get your facts straight, man. Right in here.
I just wanted to clarify that one. Whatchamacallit? I get the point that he's trying to make, and it's the portability, man. Mm-hmm. I seriously think that that's what it comes down to, is the fact that you can take these games on the go. And granted, you go back a generation, and indie games were very, sorry. I'll say last generation. Sure. Xbox 360, PlayStation 3. You start there, Xbox Live Arcade games. These bite-sized games you could finish in a few hours. And they were great. They started building on it. Microsoft had the huge emphasis on it. Right. Then PlayStation 4, Sony, and Vita. Huge props to Vita for this one. Because, hey, we're still getting physicals for Vita in 2019. I'm just saying. Shakedown Hawaii. But yeah, dude.
Yeah.
They built that indie base, and where did they win them? On the Vita. Yeah. Cross-play on the PS4. That was huge. Cross-save, cross-play. Yeah. Cross-buy. There you go. Sorry. Whatever the hell.
You got it. You're on the warpath. I like this.
That was huge. And that won a lot of people over. What did they do to the Vita? They kind of just chucked it away, threw it off, and sent it on an island and forgot about it. Yeah. And they went on to their next baby, the PSVR.
Yeah. And that's what I think. I think a lot of people forget is VR is huge with indies. There's a ton of indie games that land. I mean, most of them are from just indie developers who are passionate
startups.
Yeah, dude, Zoink Games, go shine, go play it, go buy it, do whatever you can. Moss, Astrobot. Well, that's technically first party, but Beat Saber, right? Super hot. All these games, PSVR, and they work competently. So and they're all indies. So I think it is. There's something about that Switch, which is the portability aspect of it, that just makes it so much. I think people want actual games to play on their portable devices, but there's this middle ground where I love the fact that I could play Doom on my Switch, but I don't play it on my Switch, mobile, because it's just it just doesn't complement it. There's something about indie games where it's just there's enough gameplay in there. The art style usually complements the mobile aesthetic, and it's just this. It's the perfect peanut butter jelly sandwich, right? It's just the games are big enough to be able to play on the go, and they're competent when you play them at home. You could play them anywhere. They're comfortable games to play. Whereas AAA games, you don't see them, you don't see them broadcasted on the Switch when you're playing mobile. Look at MK11, right? That game, they did not show anything until the week of. Because you're just it doesn't look good. So, but you could show a game like Celeste. You could show Messenger. Yeah. You could show Katana Zero. And, right, is that what it's called? Yeah. And, they all looked great. And I think that's what the Switch really wants. Ghost in the Well looks great. It's going to play great.
And I'll tell you right now, JRPG fans, anyone who owned a Vita played a bunch of JRPGs. And now we look at where all those games are getting ported over to.
And now with Sony banning all the boobies are going to come, to your Nintendo Switch. So what does PlayStation do to win all these people back? Do you think they do, or do you think just stay the course?
Dude, you were Bobo jokes about the Vita too. And I love this thing.
Yeah.
I love the fact that this was also my PlayStation 1 console. right here in my hand. Yeah. That was like, that's huge for me. All my Resident Evil games, all my Final Fantasy games, right here. Now I have my Final Fantasy games on my Switch, and soon my Resident Evil games, which is just bananas. Yeah. But the I think they need another handheld. Like, this worked. Maybe not as well as they could have, because there was some false promises with with the Vita initially. There were ports that were also on the original Vita that were supposed to be accessory ports. I think one of the rumors was that it was supposed to be able to just like connect it to a TV at some point with that accessory port, kind of like how the PS Go had the dock that you can then mount to your connect to your TV that way. But like they just like it stopped, and it was supposed to be AAA console experience on the go, but like I didn't play Uncharted. I didn't play God of War on here. I played my JRPGs. I played my indie games on here. Rogue Legacy.
There's just something about the gameplay of all these indie games and like more AA games that like complement the Switch in such a way where, like I don't want God of War on the go, right? Yeah. I like that's why like XCloud is a cool idea, but like, and maybe I'm just old. You know, maybe I'm getting there. Maybe I'm Bobby and I'm being real salty that I lost.
You have no right talking about going to be old, man. Yeah. Not in front of me.
I'm so sorry. But, like, you know, like, for me, I'm like, all this stuff sounds nice, but, like, do I really want to play Forza on the go? I don't know. You know? So there's something about these indie games that, like, speak to the mobile market. So, I think what Sony can do to win indies back is focus the indies. First off, you have a marketplace. People are obviously buying these games on PlayStation 4. Keep marketing them here for sure. I don't think you should be in a panic that, you know, Nintendo's getting an indie game before you, but I would focus your indie strength on your VR. You know, that's where I think VR is going to do gangbusters, is don't focus on AAA experiences on VR. Give me those experiences I can't get anywhere else but VR, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like cross-buy was such a huge thing, and also the fact that you can play I don't know about everyone, but PS4 games worked for me on this thing. I played half of Infamous Second Son on this thing.
Did you really?
Yes, and I loved it.
Yeah. Like, well, remember, you know, Nintendo innovates. They did that first. You know? That's not funny. Everybody forgets you could play Destiny competently on your Vita. Everybody forgets. But Breath of the Wild, you can put cardboard on your face and throw up. It's revolutionary. You know?
Hey.
Have you played Breath of the Wild on that thing, Joe?
No, because the update wasn't out when I built this thing. I bought it the launch day, so I gotta update it and see what it's about.
Dude, I would love to see a review for you doing that. That would be ridiculous.
It makes me wish I got my Switch modded to have the HDMI port, because then I could just like show everybody.
Yeah. That'd be dope. Yeah. Well, you know what, guys? That's been the Trophy Room.
Ooh.
PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players. We got nothing left, Joe. We got nothing left. I don't want to keep you here all night.
Resident Evil 7 PSVR. Try it.
Dude, definitely. Joe, where can they find you? Let's do all those plugs, and let's get the hell out of here.
Find me. Just type in JoAfterWork, JoAfterWork. Mm-hmm. You will find me on YouTube, Twitch, the website as well. Okay. And yeah, there you go. Oh, and PNP, when that comes back, I got to talk to Pat. Pat, I missed you. Bobby, I missed you.
Where is it, Pat?
I haven't seen Pat.
You know?
I need a milk carton.
Listen, PNP, right? What do you guys need? You guys just need a large and in charge guy from Jersey? Or what, is Guru too big for you guys ever since this Patreon? I'll come in. I'll speak the truth. That's what I'll do.
Nah, man. I've been busy at work. I've been working every Sunday. Working like 7-day weeks.
Tell them Tuesday. What are you doing, work? With that, you can find me over at Bad Big Games on YouTube. You can find the Trophy Room on YouTube as well at Bad Big Games. You can find me, Mr. Badbit, at Mr. Badbit on Twitter. PS Trophy Room on Twitter. The Trophy Room of PlayStation Podcast on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Spotify, wherever there's an RSS feed, you can find us. And so with all that said, and with all that out of the way, everybody keep hunting and keep playing PlayStation. Joe, thank you so much. And this is where we wave.
You.
I love you all so much.